Preeti Gandhi, thank you so much for joining us on ITV Gold. I am so glad that we decided to have this virtual chat. How are you doing today?
I am doing wonderful, and thank you so much for having me on this show.
Of course, I think it was great, to bring in a fresh perspective and also do something for the moms watching us on ITV Gold and for all South Asian women on just how to build themselves up a little bit more during this COVID-19 crisis. So again, thank you so much for being with us. I know you are an influencer and you're a life coach and you're also a fitness person. Just starting off this interview, I'd like to get some insight into this coaching that you're doing and perhaps to get to know a little bit about what is it and the kind of programs that you teach.
Sure, thank you. So, thank you for having me, first of all, on the show. And basically, my story is really about it's no different from any other mom out there. So, I am a fitness and lifestyle coach that didn't pursue this intentionally, it just happened to cross path. So, let's start from the beginning.
Yeah.
For when I turned 40, when women turn 40, you're like, oh, you're going downhill. Everything is just going to get more loose, more saggy, and like, what the heck is going to happen to us?
Yeah.
But honestly, more than that, I think my energy levels were low. My moods were low. Mentally, I wasn't in a good place because nobody talks about that. We all just make fun of turning 40. We have our parties and we're like, good for you. But honestly, women actually don't really take care of themselves. I thought I was taking care of myself. I used to go to gyms. I thought I'm doing the right thing, but really my body didn't see any benefits. So, that's kind of discouraging when you don't get results.
Right.
And that led to the path of me seeing a friend who was so happy doing home workouts. And I was like, how do home workouts work? How can you stay motivated? This sounds impossible because I genuinely need to be in front of a trainer who's going to be behind me, like, get this done, push this, that. I was like, it's impossible. And so I reached out to her and I said, what are you doing? And she said, I'm doing these home workouts. Why don't you give it a try? I was like, all right, let me try it for a month and let's see. The cool part about those programs were it came with a nutrition plan. None of the gyms that I went to provided that. Like, you have to go to a nutritionist to get more information. And when I complained to my doctor about low energy, he's like, eat better. So I was like, what does that mean? Like, what does eat better mean?
Right.
All right, don't eat processed food, don't eat sugar, don't eat all that. We know, but what exactly am I supposed to eat? So that was like a big question. And I'm sure so many women out there have the same issue.
Definitely.
They're wondering what to eat. So this program solved that big gap for me. It trained me on portion control. It trained me on how my plate should look. It showed me how much I should be eating. I was actually eating very less. That's why my weight wouldn't go down, my inches wouldn't go down. I was actually more bloated because I wasn't eating enough. It's kind of mind-boggling when you think about it. And then once I started following the program, which you can easily learn, and I kind of customized it for our eating habits. So like Indian, because most programs out there are very Americanized. So I figured the formula to that and it started to work. It's magic. I gave it 4 months and I lost close to 16 pounds and like 22 inches. So I went like from a size 10 to a size 4. So that was like a big change for me. I was convinced. I was like, this is amazing. I started telling my friends. I started telling people about it. People were seeing changes.
Wow.
And that's when I decided I'm going to be a coach. So with these programs, the amazing part is you can get certified through the company, and that's exactly what I coach women on. I provide meal plans, recipes, because I love to cook. So women actually enjoy. It's more a community where we all hold each other accountable through these programs. And anybody, literally anybody, any age can do this.
So let me ask you something. This is in terms of importance of self-care and also taking care of our body at an older age, which is a very common thing that we see, among South Asian women, which is, lack of taking care of themselves, lack of diet, higher increase in other issues. Your personal take on South Asian women and the way they take care of themselves and the way they should take care of themselves.
Right. So what I have seen personally, my experience and, my friends, what I started seeing is women started to really, like, you're raising kids, so your focus is 100% on the kids. Like, I need to feed my kids well, I need to make sure my husband has like nice meal every day. But what about yourself? Like, a lot of times we end up just dealing with leftovers, or just eating anything. Like, people are just saying, I'll just eat anything that's cooked for my family. We never really focus on what our body needs are. So that's a very common trend I see in women. Like, they're not eating enough. And then how do they fill that void, right? You're still hungry.
Right.
Then they fill it with carbs. And then they fill it with things that aren't doing good for themselves. Alcohol, like, that's another big thing I'm seeing a lot in our South Asian community, that, at night, everybody wants to, like, just because you're quarantined doesn't mean you have to have alcohol every day. Like,
Right.
things like that. Emotions play a huge part on how you eat. I talk a lot about emotional eating, because I
Right.
used to be at the point where I used to binge eat at night when everybody was asleep. I'd go in the pantry and start picking on cookies or namkeen. And you don't realize all those little things add up, even though you ate well for the majority of the day. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. So, in terms of just talking a little bit more about eating habits and sort of bringing it together with the meal plan that you do, can you break down what a plate should look like, or perhaps through your meal plans, if you could give us some basic tips on what,
Absolutely.
especially women, like what they need to focus on. I know you do a vegetarian diet, so
Yeah.
that's something that's also very popular amongst the community as well. If you could give
Mhm.
us an insight into how we need to look at this portion control. I think it looks really interesting. So let's let the audience know
Absolutely.
too.
Sure, sure. In fact, I drew it out on a plate, so I hope that's okay if I can share it with you. So
Of
this
course.
is what a plate would actually look like. Like, you gotta look at your plate. Does your plate look like this? Is half of your plate have vegetables,
Mhm.
one-fourth carbs, and then one-fourth protein? So now, when you're talking about your carbs, yes, you can do your roti, you can do your rice. I'm never going to say no to things that are, soulfully satisfying to you. Yes, you can even do bread, but obviously, I'm going to recommend avoid the whites, try and pick up the more grainier breads, or, you can do any type of, Indian grains that are out there, pulses, millets, whatever works for you, put it in the carbs. Proteins. A lot of people ask me, as a vegetarian, how do you get your protein in?
Right.
So, guys, we are, our culture offers so many sources of protein, we don't even think about it. Like, all our whole dals. Now, I'm not talking about the split dals or the ones without the skin, the whole dals. Those are the ones which are the most nutritious with protein. Most of them have like 10 to 13 grams of protein in it. So try and focus on getting like your whole moongs, your kala chana, your choli, your rajmas, like, I mean, pinto beans, black beans, all of them are great sources of protein. Yogurt is a great source of protein.
Right.
Paneer is, I counted 50-50 on my plan, because I know in India they've enforced a lot, like, have paneer, it's high in protein, but it's also high in fat, guys. That's like a cheese. Paneer is a cheese. So I tell my ladies, like, you can have paneer once or twice, max in a week, but try and focus on getting more like the other vegan based proteins. I do love to do tofu. I recommend tofu. There's some people who don't want to do it. I'm like, that's fine. You can definitely get your protein if you start thinking like that.
Right.
Then veggies, I don't have to describe this. But when it comes to veggies, we actually think, if you look at an Indian plate, this is usually where the carbs are. It's like half is carbs. Maybe you'll get some protein, and then this much will be your vegetables. Like, we eat very little vegetables. And then you see this little piece of fat I wrote there. Those are your healthy fats, like your ghee or coconut oil. Don't skip that. I'm never going to tell my clients to skip the things that actually work for you, because the fats will help you digest. You'll feel less bloated. You know, you'll feel people usually complain of constipation when they start adding protein. You
Mhm.
need this. You need the fat to help you digest. Helps you keep your waistline skinny too. So these are the kind of things that, when you join a program with me, you start understanding. This is at a very high level. But even understanding, like, I provide you with like a sheet like this, like, hey, we use these containers, which are called like portion control containers, and each one is a size that tells you how much you need to eat. Comes with a list of your foods that which vegetables are the ones that are going to yield you the most value and which ones are like lower in the category, because there's so much to nutrition. And that's my number one thing I cover with women in my group. Usually people think like, I'm going to work out for 30 minutes and I'm going to get this great body.
Right.
No, it's what you eat for the remainder 23 hours is what is going to dictate your results. So nutrition is the number one thing, and you can absolutely get whatever you want, whether you're vegetarian, whether you're vegan, you can easily get the kind of results you want if you focus on nutrition.
And definitely, fitness and nutrition can play such a massive role, especially with this COVID crisis happening right now. But, in terms of building that inner strength and that emotional strength and also that physical strength, what kind of a combination do you recommend?
So the way that, what I recommend to the ladies in my group is, first of all, you need to be present and mindful of your choices. Like I can tell you, hey, eat all this, but if you don't enjoy it, it's not going to work. It's just not going to work for you. And more than anything, there's some practices that I follow that I also recommend my clients to follow is, simple things like breathing exercise. That's something I recommend to my clients. You feel anxious, you feel overwhelmed with emotions. I feel it too. We all are human. Right. But like incorporating certain habits first thing in the morning is like, just like wake up, say gratitude. Say three things you're grateful for. Maintain a gratitude journal during this time. Like there's so many things we take for granted. I'm sure everyone out there is thinking like, wow, I never thought that this would not be available. And now I truly appreciate it. So start writing those thoughts down. Start counting your blessings. Start learning how to do deep breathing, do meditation. There are like so many beautiful and wonderful meditation apps available that anyone can stay at home and do it for 10 minutes. 10 minutes, that's all it takes. And obviously working out, moving your body releases endorphins in your body that makes you feel good. That's the happy hormone. And just bringing in these practices on a daily basis, I know it's challenging in these times to feel motivated. That's why community is required. You need a community of genuinely motivated people who will want to see you succeed. And that's exactly what our community is all about.
And how then, in terms of that, how do you stay disciplined? If I'm talking about, maintaining a good diet, portion controls, which are healthier for you. Right. We're talking about fitness. We're talking about, wellness. In terms of just keeping yourself on track, what are some of the tips that you can give us?
So first of all, you need someone to hold you accountable because you might have tried it alone. It gets tough. I can tell you, I've tried it so many times alone and it is tough. You cannot stay motivated for a long time just by yourself. So you have to find a community that can hold you accountable. It can be your best friend. It could be your husband even, or your roommate, whoever you're with. Just say, hey, how about we do this together? We're going to hold each other accountable. We're going to make sure that, hey, we've had our water or we've had our meals on time, or we've worked out together. You can subscribe to so many online workout programs. And the one I obviously recommend is our Beachbody workouts, because those are the ones I've been doing for 4 years and they have all levels of workouts, whether you have zero equipment, beginner, to someone who's advanced and has equipment. There's like a whole array of it. And honestly, what I do recommend is also tracking, maintaining a journal of what you're doing daily, what you're eating, how much. There are like apps to help you even track it. And that's exactly what I tell my clients is like, use the tracker app, start tracking everything. And visually, we are very visual. More than writing, we're visual. If we see, oh, I've done this, like you start checking mark those boxes, yes, you're going to feel accomplished.
Yeah. Checklist is great. That's a great idea. I do them myself and I think they're so helpful because they really
exactly
in a certain good manner of like making sure I'm like doing my work on time. When we're talking about this being such a stressful time period and we are talking to you about how to just live a little bit better, how to live a little bit more positive. I know you also have a huge fan following of the South Asian youth, a lot of young girls who are listening to you. What can we do to empower them right now? If they are watching you, can you give us some tips about younger girls and what they can focus on, especially during this time period?
Absolutely. So the one thing I have seen, at least on social media can be a good thing and a bad thing at the same time, because we all are on social media around this time. And I've been seeing people posting all these amazing pictures that, hey, I'm looking so awesome, or these are pictures from whenever. And then I know there are a lot of people who are just watching. A lot of people just watch other people, and they don't have a say. They feel they don't belong. They feel they're not good enough. And I just want to tell anyone who's listening that you are worthy. You are worthy of being here. You're worthy of your presence. And anybody can make a mark, because I've seen women in my group, even young girls. I have young girls who are in my group who came to me because they were not, they were ashamed of actually going to a gym, or just being out there like in gym clothes and working out with other friends, because they didn't think they belonged there, because they weren't a certain size. Or so, those type of insecurities can really, you know even impose more right now when you're home and you feel like I can't do anything. Right? Even though the sources were available to you, you still feel now like I can't do it. And my message to you guys is start baby steps. Start with something. It can be something as basic as start drinking your water. Start drinking at least 100 ounces of water daily.
Wow.
You girls are going to feel good when you feel hydrated. The toxins flush out. Guess what? You start going to feel going to feel good about yourself. Start having more vegetables than things from the boxes. Stop going to the pantry. Pantry has processed foods. Most of your good foods are in your refrigerator. Your fresh vegetables, your fresh produce. Those are the type of foods you need to focus on. Get enough sleep. How many of us are not getting enough sleep
Yeah.
in these times? So those are the type of things that, I want girls to start thinking, like making these little changes will make your moods elevated, and then commit to something. Biggest, thing that I see right now in COVID-19 is uncertainty, right? Everyone's like, I don't know what's going to happen. Right.
Right.
But you have your body, you still have a life to live. Are you going to give it up just because you're stuck at home? So that's something I want to remind everyone, is like, you still need to take care of your body, whether it's a summer body or a winter body or a COVID-19 body. You got to take care of it. You got to take care of it. That's the only way you're going to strengthen, because God forbid if anything was to happen, at least your body has a chance of recovering.
You know, we are coming to a close of this interview, but I have two more questions for you.
Okay.
Another one would be for moms that are watching you right now, especially that want to be on a fit routine for the next couple of weeks. What would you recommend that they start on? And, any tips you can give us on that regards?
Absolutely. So if you are at a point where, like, I'm not ready to commit to anything, what I would recommend is at least getting 10,000 steps. You could be in your apartment, you could be in your building, you can climb steps up and down, get 10,000 steps in. And like I already mentioned about, water and vegetables and sleep, those are like some basic things that I start off all the clients with when they come overwhelmed. Start planning your meals ahead. Like Sundays are big in my house. Sundays, I plan out my week on how and what we're going to eat. And it helps me also grocery shopping, especially in these times. Like, what do I want to go and buy when I step out in 2 weeks or 3 weeks, right? So you can absolutely use like frozen vegetables and all those kind of foods also to plan your meals, and make it fun. Don't make it boring. You can absolutely make it fun. It doesn't have to be boring. But for a mom out there, think about the meals you struggle with most. I would say make a big batch of food on Sunday and eat it for like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. And again, do the same thing on Wednesday and eat it for the next 3 days. That way, you're going to start feeling like, hey, I did something for myself. I ate healthy. Even though I'm giving my family, okay, they want to have pasta, but I don't want to eat pasta. I still need to eat healthy. So that's how I think and plan ahead and stay focused on my goals.
Definitely. And you also did a healthy cooking, tasty cooking segment for us. And it was a really interesting recipe. Could you briefly reflect on why you chose that recipe? Because we'll be showing you right after this.
Awesome. So I was thinking, how do I show you how you can make, something as basic as quinoa? I know like my mom doesn't like quinoa, but I convinced her to like quinoa because of the style I cooked it and gave it to her. Because a lot of times they were like, oh no, like I get a lot of this. Like, I don't want to eat tofu, or I don't want to eat this healthy food. I've never had it. We all are so stuck in our ways. I love to break that mentality of people and show them how you can change something that you never thought you could enjoy and enjoy it. So We're going to learn how to make tandoori quinoa, and it's delicious because it covers all the food groups I just talked about. You're going to get your veggies, your protein, and your carbs in one dish. And that's what it is. You make a one pot and you can use it for like 3 days and eat it as many times as you want.